Hello and welcome to Fast Horses Today for Thursday's card over at Santa Anita, Thursday being January 15th. They've got a nice card scheduled for their Thursday opener of the week. They've got a long racing week. I think they've got a 5-day racing week, which, man, tell me when the last time you saw a 5-day race week over in Southern California. So with the loss of a few days because of the weather, and then we also have the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday next Monday. Santa Anita is going to go through a marathon 5-day race week. So let's get started here on their opening of the week here on Thursday the 15th. So as I mentioned, they have a nice card. They've got 9 races on Thursday. And I'm going to skip over the first few races. I've got some win bets I'm going to make on the Thursday card. We're going to get this started in the 5th race. The 5th race has an approximate post time about 2:35 Pacific, so that's 4:35 here in the Central Time Zone. We're going to start the 5th race. It's a mile on the grass, and these are maiden special weights. These are California breds, and these are 3-year-olds. Now, this 5th race also starts out that Turf Pick 3, which is a nice bet there, that $3 Turf Pick 3 with a low takeout, as well as the late Pick 5. So the 5th race is definitely an important race on the race card there on Thursday. So in the 5th race here, I've got a win bet I'm going to make on the 6 horse, who is Columnist. Columnist comes out of the Tim Yakteen barn. Wilfred Orantes takes the call here. Now, Orantes has been on this horse the last couple times, so he certainly is familiar with this 3-year-old gelding. Tim Yakteen, has certainly done a nice job for the opening of this Santa Anita meeting with some wins and some nice finishes there at Santa Anita. This horse comes in off a couple months of a break. Last time we saw this horse was back in the fall at Santa Anita. So it's had a couple months off with a couple changes. So now that the horses are 3 years old, they get Lasix. So this horse gets Lasix for the first time, as well as they're taking blinkers off this horse. So this horse had run with blinkers in his 3 career starts. And I like all 3 starts he made. He started his career at Del Mar on the dirt. It was a maiden $50,000 race, claiming race there. I thought the horse ran a nice, even race. Looked like, he didn't really want anything to do with sprinting, but, seemed to finish up nice with an even effort. But when they put this horse on the turf, that's where it seems like this horse really shined. He ran twice at this mile distance, so he's got the experience of going 2 turns 2 different times, one at Del Mar, one at Santa Anita. So he's tested the turf course in 2 different venues, and it seems like he's run pretty well. So I also like the horses that he ran with. He had got beaten by Third Beer, as well as also got beaten by Unrivaled Time in his last 2 starts. And Unrivaled Time's a grade 3 winner in his career, and Third Beer and Unrivaled Time both ran in a stakes race last week. I think it was the Eddie Logan they both ran in. So those are 2 nice Calbreds that Columnist kept company with, and I thought he ran some nice efforts. Like, I look at the film in his most recent effort at Santa Anita back in October, and Unrivaled Time was just a really very ready racehorse to win that day, and ended up, as I mentioned, won a grade 3 after that. But I thought Columnist ran a really nice race. He kind of fought for the lead from the 11 hole, didn't really get a break. He was pretty much running every step of the way. Actually took the lead into the stretch and then just ended up getting beat by a better horse. So I think with this little bit of a break, blinkers come off. I'm going to trust the Yakteen barn has been training this horse without blinkers. They must like what they see. The blinkers are off. Maybe it'll relax the horse a little. As I mentioned, Orantes has been riding this horse. And, Orantes is a journeyman now. He came to Southern California as an apprentice. He's a journeyman now. The opportunities may not be as prevalent as they were when he had that 5-pound bug. So a guy like Orantes, when he gets a horse that's live, you got to ride the hair off the horse and get that win. So I expect a really nice effort, from Orantes here. This horse is 5-2 in the program. I think we'll probably get somewhere around there. So I'm going to make a win bet in the 5th race on the 6 horse, Columnist. So the next race we're going to play, we're going to move over to the 7th race of the day. 7th race at Santa Anita. This is a 6 furlong grass race. That's on that flat grass course there, the 6 furlong flat grass. And this is a first level allowance field here for California bred horses, 4-year-olds and up. I haven't won one other than, or there's a $20,000 claim option here. So certainly there's been some horses in this race that are taking advantage of that $20,000 claim, to get into this field and help fill the field. Now I've got a horse that I like here. It's not going to be any secret. That being the 3-horse Berlin Wall for Steve Knapp and Tiago Pereira. This horse is 9-5 in the program, and I feel is worth every bit of that program favoritism. Berlin Wall is a very nice horse. I mean, this horse has shown some really nice races in his career. He's got 6 starts, 2 wins, 2 seconds, and a third. hasn't tried the turf yet. So this will be his first time on the turf. So here's the deal with this horse. He has won at this first level allowance condition, but in California, they allow you to go back into that same level if you change surfaces. So they're trying him here on the turf. I think the breeding should be no problem with turf racing. Being by Practical Joke, Practical Joke is by Into Mischief. They seem to do everything right. And the mom of this horse is by Uncle Mo, so certainly some turf breeding there. Uncle Mo's can do it all as well. So I don't think the turf should be any problem. In watching his film, like in his win back at Del Mar in November, this horse, the way this horse ran, I think that running style certainly would suit him well on the turf. He had a really nice turn of foot late in the race, drew off. That kind of running style certainly, would be a benefit on a turf course. We're going to throw out his most recent effort. They thought so much of this horse off a nice win. They put him in the Grade 1 Malibu over at Santa Anita on opening day. And, the waters were just a little too deep for him there. And, there's certainly, more shallow waters here in this first level allowance race here on the turf. So I think, the only question for Berlin Wall, will he like the turf? I think he'll pass that with flying colors. This looks to be a really talented horse in the California ranks. He's shown some nice races running with these California breds and with open company as well. So I think he's a really talented horse. I really expect Berlin Wall to probably be a stakes performer in the California stakes series that are coming up. And I know they'll have a couple in the springtime as well as, in the summertime at Del Mar. So Berlin Wall, to me, is worth a win bet. That's the 3-horse in the 7th race. Tiago Pereira, 9-5 in the program. Let's hope we can get 9-5. All right, now on to the next race that we're going to play. I'm going to go to the last race of the day. Last race is the 9th race. This is a mile on the grass. It is a maiden special weight race for California breds. And these are 4- and 5-year-old horses here that, are running some horses who have had some experience, have had some runs over the track, over the turf. And I've got a win bet I'm going to make here being on the 4-horse Big Bill. Big Bill comes in for the Mark Glatt barn, and Abel Lascano takes the call here. Now, Lascano has ridden this horse, several times in his career. He's got 5 starts. Of course, he's a maiden here. He's got two seconds and a third. This horse has done a nice job running over the Santa Anita turf course. And, it's done fine running over 2 turns as well. And, I had liked this horse last time he was in, he had started, or he was in the entry box. That race, that day was canceled, due to weather. So they had Big Bill in a very similar race here. I think that race was actually a sprint that day, but, he's back to 2 turns, which should be no problem here. He's shown a nice couple nice 2-turn efforts. And 2-1 here. I'm going to figure we're going to get somewhere around that 2-1. There is a horse that's going to, certainly get bet on. That being the 2-horse was Hard to Be Better Now. Hard to Be Better Now is going to be 3-2 in the program. So we'll see how hard that Hard to Be Better Now gets bet. So I like Big Bill. I think Big Bill just shows a nice running style. And this 2-turn race should be just up his alley. And he fits very well here. So looking for a little bit of a price, maybe over 2-1. We'll take it. Mark Glatt's horses have been running very well here at the Santa Anita meet. And, Mark Glatt and Lascano have teamed up for some wins. I think Big Bill is prime and ready to win here in this 9th race. That being the 4-horse, we'll make a win bet on Big Bill. All right, now let's recap the day and recap the bets. Okay, so for the start of the race week over at Santa Anita, being January 15th, Thursday, we've got 3 win bets to make in that card. We're going to move to the 5th race and bet the 6-horse Columnist. The 7th race, the 3-horse Berlin Wall. And then finally the 9th race, the 4-horse Big Bill. So if you see fit, you want to bet these horses to win, as I'm going to do, I wish you the best of luck. If you want to use these horses in your multi-race wagers, all 3 of these horses do fit in that late pick 5 as well as the turf pick 3. If you decide to do that, I wish you the best of luck, whatever you decide to do. Let's wish the folks over at Santa Anita a very safe racing day for the start of the racing week. Let's wish ourselves some good luck and some good trips. We know that's always a big difference in winning and losing on the racetrack. So as always, I thank you so much for watching Fast Horses today and listening to the picks. Thanks to everybody who's hit the subscribe button. If you haven't done so, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button for me. It doesn't cost you anything, and it delivers the content to you directly. Think of it as like an Uber Eats or DoorDash. That doesn't charge anything. So please do me a favor, do that. You can always like, dislike, Make comments. Make good comments. Make bad comments. I promise to respond to everything. Let's create a discussion. So again, let's get this racing week off to a fast start at Santa Anita, the great race place, and we'll see you back for more coverage throughout the weekend.